Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, man. You know, we must continue to do this, guys. And we're going to talk about the NFL in this video. We're going to do some more NFL. We're going to talk about the New York Giants today, man, because once again, the New York Giants, embarrassment. They're an embarrassment. They put up this embarrassing performance yesterday on their home field in front of the MetLife fans, and they were booed off the field yesterday. And rightfully so. They deserve to be booed for the performance they put up yesterday. And we're going to talk about it, losing 28-6 to the Minnesota Vikings. And the game was not even that close, guys, as a score. 28, it wasn't even that close, guys. That's how bad the Giants were yesterday. Once again, the Giants can't even score a touchdown. Can't even score a touchdown. And this has been the Giants, guys, for the last like 10 seasons now. The Giants have been historically bad, especially on the offensive end. These guys cannot score, man. And we're going to talk about this video, guys. I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states, man, has been supporting my channel. I want to try to do some more football stuff this season with the NFL season. I want to try to do some more Giant stuff, cover some of the NFL storylines. Shout out to all you guys that have been asking me to talk about football. So much respect. Thank you for all the support, guys. Thank you very much. Like I said, it's truly, truly humbling, man. This is what we must continue to do. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, the New York Giants played their first game last night. The NFL season officially kicked off. Like, the first full Sunday was yesterday. The Giants played at home against the Minnesota Vikings, man, during the 100-year celebration of the New York Giants franchise. This is the Giants' 100th season as part of the NFL, guys. The 100th season. It's insane. I did not even realize the Giants were around that long, guys. 100 seasons in the NFL. And they celebrated that yesterday at halftime by having all the New York Giant legends come out to the field, to the stadium, man. Like I said, for the celebration of the 100th season of the New York Giants franchise. And the New York Giants, the current New York Giants, go out there and embarrass themselves. They put on one of the most pathetic shows that we've seen over the last several years from the New York Giants, guys. This is becoming more of the same for the New York Giants franchise. The inconsistency of the New York Giants since they last won the Super Bowl in 2011. Now, let me first start off by saying, it's crazy. Like, I've been lucky. I've been very fortunate as a Giant fan to actually have been able to witness the Giants win Super Bowls. The Giants have won 4 Super Bowls in my lifetime. I was, I believe, 6 or 7 years old. I think I was 6 years old when the Giants won their first title in 1986. Then they won the next championship in 1990. I remember, I was 10 years old when they won the Super Bowl in 1990, right? When the Buffalo Bills, the guy missed the kick, right? And the Giants won the Super Bowl. So the Giants also won again in 2007. You guys remember, they beat the undefeated New England Patriots in the 2007 in the Super Bowl that year, right? They beat the undefeated New England Patriots with Randy Moss and Tom Brady. The Giants beat them, right, in that Super Bowl. Probably one of the greatest upset in Super Bowl history, guys. The New York Giants, who I believe were only 10-6 that season, beat the undefeated New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, guys. And we all remember the helmet catch by David Tyree. But then they also won again 4 years later in 2011. They won the Super Bowl, once again, beating the New England Patriots. Eli Manning, like I said, raising his level of play in those Super Bowls, man. They were just great Super Bowls to watch, man. They were competitive. And it came down to last-second plays by teams in those Super Bowls, man. So I'm very fortunate as a Giant fan to be alive during the time that the Giants have won Super Bowls. There are people who are rooting for their team for all these years. They've never seen their team win. The Detroit Lions still never won a Super Bowl. The Cincinnati Bengals, people are waiting. They've never won in their lifetimes. Some of these franchises have never won Super Bowls in some of these people's lifetimes. They've been waiting 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years for their team to win a championship. So that's not lost on me that the Giants have actually won Super Bowls in the recent memory, right? And the last one being the 2011 season. But ever since that win in the Super Bowl in 2011, the Giants have been bad. They have been bad, guys. And I wrote down their records since 2011. They were 9-7 in 2012, 7-9, 6-10, 6-10, 11-5, 3-13, 5-11, 4-12, 6-10, 4-13, 9-7, and 6-11 last season. And this year they started off 0-1, and it looks like they're going to be very, very bad again this season, guys. They were bad last year. I don't even know how they made 6 wins last year. They're going to be bad again this season, guys. They don't have any talent on the team, really. There's no one that you're really pointing to. And you're like, hey, this guy's a game changer. This guy could wreak havoc on the field. This guy, there's no one there. The Daniel Jones, once again, I've never been a fan of Daniel Jones. I liked his athleticism. I liked his ability to run and scramble a little bit. But other than that, Daniel Jones has been bad. He fumbles the ball a lot, right? He throws interceptions. As we saw yesterday, the man threw a pick six on like the 3-yard line. I mean, and clear as day, the guy was covered and he still threw the ball. This is Daniel Jones. This is the quarterback that we've gotten, that they drafted out of Duke. You guys name me another historically great quarterback that came from Duke University. This is not basketball. Duke is not known for football, but they drafted a quarterback from Duke, Daniel Jones, and the dude is mediocre at best. And last night, yesterday, he was terrible. Once again, being Daniel Jones. And this are the Giants are irrelevant, and they'll continue to be irrelevant with Daniel Jones as the quarterback. They lost Saquon Barkley, who looked amazing in his first game in Philadelphia, and he was their greatest player, their best player. Thibodeau, I'm not sold on this guy. And these are the pros for the Giants. They have him drafted well. I mean, think about some of the draft picks that the Giants have had over the years. Guys like Justin Pugh, David Wilson, Eli Apple. What's Eric Flowers? These are some of the draft picks. Now, they've hit on some draft picks. Odell Beckham, even though I was not a fan of Odell Beckham, because Odell Beckham didn't really raise his level of play or was there when you need him the most. And every time I think about Odell Beckham on the New York Giants, I keep going back to that 2016 season when they went on the boat trip before the game against the Green Bay Packers. You guys remember the boat trip? It was like Odell Beckham and like Victor Cruz and some of these other guys. They went on a boat trip celebrating before the game. And then what happened in the game against Green Bay, where the Giants probably should have won that game? Odell Beckham went out there and started dropping balls all over the place. You guys remember that touchdown he dropped in the end zone, and people knocked Odell Beckham for going out there celebrating like a diva and not staying focused on the game, the task at hand. And that was a problem for an Odell Beckham. I was never a fan of Odell Beckham. Like I said, to me, he was just a diva, but he wasn't someone that you could rely on. He wasn't a true professional, a true leader, Odell Beckham. But he was a solid player for the Giants once again, but he wasn't there when it mattered most in that playoff during that one good season that they had, really one good season with Odell Beckham, 2016 when they were 11-5. Like I said, they played the Green Bay Packers and they should have won that game, but Odell was dropping passes. So when we think about these kinds of things, you think about David Wilson they drafted who had a neck injury. There's the same idiot, David Wilson, who had some skills, had some speed. This man was doing backflips in the end zone and ends up hurting his neck. And they told this fool, stop doing the flips in the end zone. And he continued to do this stuff. He played 2 seasons and he's done. His career was over. David Wilson, that was their top draft pick. Justin Pugh, Eric Flowers. These guys were nightmares on the offensive line. They were terrible, these guys. And these are top draft picks. Eli Apple, Prince Amukamara. These are the guys that Giants have drafted over the seasons. They hit on guys like Landon Collins. But once again, they couldn't put teams around these guys to help. Evan Ingram was a solid draft pick a couple of years back. Once again, he's not even on the team anymore, Evan Ingram. And they didn't have a guy to throw him the ball. So you have no quarterback, and you make these draft picks, Sterling Shepard, the Evan Ingrams, Odell Beckhams, but you're not putting the things together. And we all know about Saquon Barkley, the draft pick Saquon Barkley. But there's the problem for the New York Giants. The organization is kind of falling off. And ever since they got rid of Tom Coughlin, the Giants have gone downhill. Eli Manning retired. They bring in a Bob McAdoo, or Ben McAdoo they bring in as the head coach. Ben McAdoo, the guy who I believe he coached the Giants for 2 seasons, and in the second season he was coaching them, he broke Eli Manning's starting streak. If you guys remember, Eli Manning was like an Iron Man in the NFL. The guy never missed a game. That was the greatest aspect of the one thing I really respected and loved about Eli Manning. Every time the Giants had a game, you knew Eli Manning was going to be there. No, he wasn't as great as his brother. He wasn't Tom Brady. He wasn't some of these other guys, a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers or a Drew Brees, or he wasn't like a Phillip Rivers. He didn't have to be the arm of some of these guys, the talent of some of those guys. But Eli Manning was durable, and he was a true professional, and he was there every single week. You knew you could depend on Eli Manning in the starting lineup, and Eli Manning was known for raising his level of play to make plays when it mattered most, i.e. beating Tom Brady and the undefeated New England Patriots in one of the greatest plays in the NFL Super Bowl history, when he scrambled with guys pulling on his jersey and still was able to get that pass off to David Tyree, man. Right? And we think about the pass he made in the 2011 in the Super Bowl, right? When he made that pass to Mario Manningham on the sideline in a small window. This Eli Manning making plays when it mattered most, raising his level of play, man. So I always respected Eli Manning. He was a true professional, man. Like I said, a New York Giants legend because of the way that he went about his business, man. That NFC Championship game against the San Francisco 49ers in the 2011 playoffs, that was one of the great performances by Eli Manning. The man was getting smashed. He was coming up with grass all in his helmet, his face mask. Eli Manning leading the Giants to a victory over a very good Niners team. But the Giants have been downhill ever since, guys. When I read these, I read off the records. I mean, look at these records. They have one winning record in the last, 10 seasons or over the last, or two winning records since 2011 or since 2013. Right? In 2016, they were 11-5. Then the very next season, they followed it up with a 3-13 record. And then we remember a couple of seasons ago in Brian Daboll's first year, they went 9-7-1, made the playoffs, and they won the first round. They beat the Vikings in the first round, and then got beat down by the Eagles in the second round, no doubt about it. There was a very successful season. And then what happens? Then last year comes and they fall back, they regress back to 6-11. Like I said, Daniel Jones was out for a large portion of the season. They've had injuries over the years. Guys like Saquon Barkley have gone down. But Daniel Jones was never that guy. To me, he's a backup quarterback at best. He's not a starter in the NFL. And once again, Daniel Jones came from Duke, and they drafted him from Duke, who's not known for making quarterbacks or having great quarterbacks historically. And the Giants used their top draft pick on a Daniel Jones when there were other quarterbacks available that they could have gone with or other players that they could have gone with that were available. And this is part of the problem for the Giants, man. So I just wanted to do a video, guys. The Giants are an embarrassment. Yesterday was a Giants celebration of 100 years, and the Giants are a mess, man. They scored 6 points, guys. 6 points yesterday against a Vikings team that's not supposed to be that great this season at home. And once again, those 6 points were fraudulent because 3 of those points, that one field goal they got that field goal because of the field position they were given off of a fumble. They recovered a fumble. The Giants got the ball, and what did they do? They do nothing. Get down to the goal line and get stopped. This is the Giants, guys. This is what I'm talking about with the Giants. They don't score any points. This is why it's hard to root or even watch their games. It's not like the Giants are losing 35-28 or they're losing 42 to 20-something. They're literally losing these games, and they're scoring 6 points, 3 points, 10 points, if that, at best, 13 points. This is the Giants, guys. This is what happens. More of the same as a continuation from last season, man. They're bad on offense. They cannot score. They get down to the goal line, they kick field goals. This has been the Giants' MO for years now, guys. For years. They get down to the goal line, they live off field goals. They never score touchdowns, the Giants. And you cannot watch these games. They never score. They give you nothing to cheer for. Nothing exciting happened yesterday. I feel bad for all the Giants fans that went out there. The best part of the day yesterday was probably the tailgating before the game. And they celebrate 100 years of New York Giants franchise, their 100th season. You have all the greats out there. You had Phil Simms out there, right? You had Eli Manning out there. You had Lawrence Taylor out there. You had all the great New York Giants over the years. And they go out there and stink it up. They don't even show up. 6 points, and you get beat down by a team that's not even that great, isn't it? You weren't playing against the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles, a really quality team. You got beat down by the Minnesota Vikings, man. At home. At home. No excuses for this. And they look terrible doing it. Scoring 6 points, guys. No touchdowns. Not even really sniffing a touchdown. Bad play calls. Defense couldn't stop anybody yesterday. They couldn't stop anyone yesterday, the defense. And they were on the field the whole game because the Giants offense couldn't do anything. Couldn't get any first downs going. No drives, no continuous drives. Nothing. It's going to be a long season for the New York Giants, guys. I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones. I was never a believer in Daniel Jones. Brian Daboll, I don't know about this guy, man. I mean, think about how many coaches the Giants have had over the last, 5-6 years now. Tom Coughlin left after the 2015 NFL season, right? So then you had Ben McAdoo in 2016. He coached for 2 years. Then they fired him. Then you bring in Pat Shurmur. He's there for 2 years. Then you bring in that guy Joe Judge. He's there for 2 years. And now you got Brian Daboll. So you got Tom Coughlin, Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, and now you got this guy, Brian Daboll. You have 5 coaches, guys, in like 8 years. It's insane. No continuity for the Giants. They're not hitting on the draft picks really that good. They're not really drafting great. They're really not. Over the last, like I said, if you go back to the last 10 years, the Giants have missed on a lot of these draft picks. They've drafted guys that either were injury prone or guys who ended up only being on the team for a couple of years or guys that just weren't even good. They just were not good. So you guys know what to do, man. Giant fans, it's going to be a long season for the Giants, guys. They got embarrassed, man. Shout out to all the great New York Giants came out yesterday for the game, man. Shout out to Lawrence Taylor, man. Lawrence Taylor, the greatest New York Giant player in the history of the franchise. 100 years of New York Giant football, and Lawrence Taylor still to this day is the greatest player in the franchise history, man. Shout out to Eli Manning. I saw him there, man. Like I said, man, a true professional that always raised his level of play when the Giants needed him most, man. Eli Manning, always there, always showed up, man. Had a lot of heart and grit, Eli Manning. Played in New York City, man, and he just went throughout his entire career with class, man, and integrity, Eli Manning. Like I said, he was kind of not a big personality, or, he didn't really have a lot of swag, Eli Manning, but the man showed up to work. Like I said, he was a true professional, man. So shout out to Eli Manning, like I said, raising his level of play. Don't forget, Eli Manning has just as many Super Bowl championships as his brother Peyton, man. You guys know the deal, man. Shout out to the New York Giants, man, and the 100-year celebration. It's going to be a long season. You guys know the deal, man. That's why I'm glad all the New York Giant fans booed these guys off the field. They booed them off the field yesterday, and they're rightfully so, man. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.